I'm the Bunnyman.
And I'm Crazzy Suzzy.
And we are in the eyes of terror. Dream girl.
Even Luna's unamused.
So today's movie is Simon Says.
Would you like a ham sandwich?
Or your favorite.
Or your favorite.
Which features Crispin Glover. For your information, we have new merch up on our merch store. It's Eyes of Terror at Redbubble.com. And I have a new shirt up to start celebrating the Halloween spirit. And it's a jack-o'-lantern surrounded by some bats. And it's just a really fun sort of like vintage style or retro style type t-shirt. That's the newest one. We have other stuff. From face masks to anything else, cups. Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. So, you want to do What Are You Drinking?
What are you drinking?
I am drinking a Hibiscus Hard Lemonade by Devil's Backbone. It's lemonade naturally flavored. It has 134 calories. Serving size is half a bottle. No, it's one bottle. It's alcohol by volume 6.1. Color rose. Fluid ounces 12. Its tasting notes are florals, zing, and lemon. So let's give it a try.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I can taste the floral.
Does it taste like perfume?
Lemon with a hint of perfume.
Oops.
Not your fault. It's not one I really recommend unless you like perfumey alcohol. I give it a 2 out of 5.
That high, huh?
1.5. The longer it sits on my tongue, the more
flowery it gets.
Florally, you know. Yeah, it's. You want to sniffer it? Not good. Not good.
Smells like rotten flowers.
Yeah. Anyway, what are you drinking?
Diet Dr. Pepper.
The good old classic non-alcoholic Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yes.
All right.
So hopefully nobody is distracted by my lisping. I recently got braces, so.
I recently did not, so.
Hopefully it's not too distracting. It's not too bad as far as the way my voice sounds, but there's times when I'm tired and I don't want to move my mouth as much, and it does affect how I enunciate.
Yeah.
Because you do have to move your mouth quite a bit more in order to properly enunciate words. It gets tiring.
First world braces problems. All right. You ready to jump in the movie?
Yes.
All right. Tonight's movie is Simon Says. You can find this movie for free on Horror Movies by Fabsome TV, which is a free thing that we found on the Roku. It's 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 38 seconds. And go for it.
It's a horror/thriller. It is rated R. This film is not recommended for small children. It has foul language.
Horrible CGI.
It does have some nudity. It has suggestive content. It has gore. So no, it is not recommended for small children. IMDb gives it a score of 4.3 out of 10, which is pretty low. The director of this film is William Deere. He is also the writer. The cast, starting out, is Crispin Glover. He plays Simon and Stanley.
Stanley.
Margo Harshman plays Kate, or Dream Girl. Greg Cipes plays Zack. Kelly Vitz plays Ashley. Artie Baxter plays Riff.
What a name.
Carrie Finklea plays Vicky. Lori Lively plays Lonnie. Bruce Glover plays Sam. The full list can be found on imdb.com. The filming location for this is Grass Valley, California. And the basic synopsis for this film is, wow, it just basically gives like the first, doesn't really give a overview, it just gives you basically what happens at the beginning. 5 college friends choose to spend their vacation at the riverside. They find the perfect place to camp out, but end up crossing paths with twin brothers, Simon and Stanley. The twins, they begin to knock off each of the campers in some extremely creative and gruesome ways. Enjoy the splatter. So this film has a pretty extensive budget for a film that doesn't have a very high score, quite a bit. $3 million.
All those big axes.
The booby traps.
Yeah.
And the flannel.
Mm-hmm.
So much flannel and booby trap.
Yep.
Maybe they like rented out that little town that they had it in. I don't know.
Or made the building. There's some CGI work and practical effects. So that could be a lot too.
Yeah.
And then just probably the cost of Crispin Glover himself.
Well, you have that point too. Yeah.
All right. You want to open this up because you only have notes?
The movie begins with a mother playing with her twin toddler boys.
And it's like this 8mm real type feeling to it. It's grainy and
Kind of like family video feel. One smashes the other one on the head with a toy truck, and the credits begin. Now we see a van making its way up the mountain. 5 friends are headed to the river. Ashley, she says if she had the money, she would save the animals. They're talking about what they would do if they had a lot of money, what they would do with it. Vicky would get a big set of boobs.
And then a bigger set of boobs.
Yeah. Kate wants to settle down and have some kids.
And then a bigger set of boobs. Sorry.
Riff says he could settle down.
And have a bigger set of boobs. Alright, I'm going to stop with the boob thing.
Zack wanted to make Shamu's tank into a bong. They drive and find a graveyard.
Which he got some heck back and he's like, he's going to smoke with Shamu and they're going to go as high as the moon.
So they find a graveyard and there are 2 dirty grave diggers. They tell them to go back where they came from.
Twin grave diggers.
They're not twins.
No, I thought they were.
They tell them a story of murder.
And mayhem.
To discourage them. They tell them to take a left past town and don't stop till your wheels meet the water.
Where's town? That's town. Town's a building.
See that building over there? That's town. They leave and go to the general store / station in town. There they find Simon. Simon, well, he got offended because Riff called him retarded.
I'm not retarded.
So he ran off to the back and Stanley came out. He said they don't get visitors often.
Okay, so Stanley is more of the suave of the two, if you want to put it.
He has a backbone.
Yeah, and more boisterous, where Simon is more slow.
Yeah, Simon doesn't have a backbone.
Yeah.
He runs off at the first
Confrontation.
sign of danger.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said they don't get visitors often, and he would be lonely. He would be lonely with company. He wouldn't be lonely with company like Kate, and touches her hand. Riff got mad. He told Kate The whiskey was a gift. Oh, Riff got mad. And Stanley tells Kate not to worry. The whiskey is a gift.
Basically, they go into this general store.
There's no charge.
This general store is disgusting. It's just... Everything's been there for like 50 years and hasn't been touched. And they're looking for booze, like you do when you go camp. They find 2 bottles of Jack Daniels.
So Zack says the pump is dry, but asks if they could get some beer out of the cooler. Simon says, no beers. Zack asked if he had any zigzag wrappers. Said, no, smoking'll kill you. They left money because they didn't want anything from him, and they left and headed out to the river. After a dip in the lake, the girls prepared the food, but Kate found the grill unacceptable, and the hibachi was out of gas.
You have to admit, that grill was seasoned.
Yeah, with years old carcasses.
Year-old meat chunks.
Seasoned with salmonella and E. coli.
Dysentery, all the fun ones. All the fun ones. Especially ones you went out in the woods.
Yeah, where you don't have plumbing.
Yeah. And away from civilization.
Yep, so you can get dehydrated and get poison ivy or poison oak on your bum.
At least they have Jack Daniels. It has water in it.
Yep, so they can get dehydrated even quicker.
Yeah.
Unless somebody has the genius idea of drinking the lake water.
Micro problems.
Then you will get dysentery.
Yeah. Alright.
Where were we? So Vicky and Riff went to go get wood, and Ashley went for a run. So since they were out of gas, Zack went back to the general store to get some. Riff makes out with Vicky out in the woods and gets caught by Ashley.
Him and Vicky used to have a thing, and then now we're full of like football puns because Riff is like the atypical football jock.
Mm-hmm.
And Vicky is the atypical cheerleader.
Brainless.
Yeah.
Blonde.
Uh-huh.
She tells them she isn't as naive as Kate. They get dressed and take the woods back to camp. And Kate complains about Zack leaving her all alone. Vicky goes into the woods looking for Ashley.
Well, Vicky's just on a run. No, not Vicky.
Ashley.
Her whole like shtick is like, I gotta keep athletic or whatever. I'm gonna go on a run now. And she's off in her own little universe with her CD player.
Riff brings Kate beer and whiskey to try to butter her up or loosen her up, whichever.
One of the two.
They make out, and Ashley runs by and says, "Not again." Kate freaks out. Ashley gets caught by Simon, and he thinks she is his dream girl. But no, she is a dog. So he kills her and cuts her up and presents her for his dream girl. But a little dog comes by and steals a hand. A literal dog comes by. So when it runs off with the hand, he finds another campsite of people.
Well, he's walking in the woods and he gets hit by a few paintballs.
So he fights them, but they lose and everybody dies. In different ways, even the little dog.
Yeah, he literally stomps on the dog.
Yeah, it was a small dog. That dog probably weighed less than 5 pounds.
But, I mean, it was really brutal.
Yeah, it literally made like a splat noise.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not nice. Mm-hmm. Not nice at all.
Oh, that's where you are? Alright. So we have several different kills, and as I literally have kill number 6 at this point. There's at least 6 killings up to this point just from the paintballers.
Well, first it's the dog. The girl that he called the dog, Ashley.
Mm-hmm. And then there's several different...
He chases Ashley through the woods before realizing that she is not Dream Girl and murders her.
Mm-hmm. And after Simon's... which is... The thing with the dog is it's completely CGI. So it takes the realism out of it, I guess. Simon takes the dog and says, "Flat dogs are best dogs." I just thought that was a fun line. The woman screams as Simon stomps the CGI dog, then takes the hand back. And then Simon shows up the dog, tells him it's sleeping and not to worry. Simon says, "Play catch," and he throws a dog. This guy tries to catch it, and as he's trying to catch it, he gets pinned to a tree by him, like, chucking him on. I give it 2 out of 5. The girl screams as she gets ready to a girl punches and tries to strangle him with her legs till Simon pulls out a knife and stabs her in the back. Then Kill 8 throws her on the same, like, stake as the other guy. Simon is happy. Then we see the blonde with the dog bear spray Simon, but he comes and ties her up with a conveniently close coil of rope. At that time, Zack arrives in town. He realizes they're gone after knocking. He goes inside, still calling for Stanley and Simon. Zack then goes into the beer cooler and finds out why they don't want him in the beer cooler. And he finds some hanging bodies.
Pig, Garth, and Clay.
Okay.
Pulls newspaper articles off the bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And then flees the store.
He freaks out. And these newspaper clippings are adhered with human goo.
Body glue. The best glue.
Zack gets into the bus and starts driving. He's distracted by getting bit by some bugs, which we can assume comes from the paper clippings. As he drives, Simon is stringing Blondie up, and as Zack gets closer, we get kill number 9. Simon swings out the blonde chick and cracking Zack's windshield. He pulls over and thinks he hit the white dog because it's in the middle of the road till he sees the crack in the window. Then Stanley pulls up in his truck, says Simon is missing, and that Ashley and him got together. Then Zack shows up, and everyone questions what did he hit, and then Stanley says he must have hit Ashley. Flashback time, because there's a lot of flashbacks through this film, so we see flashbacks of childhood and stuff like that. Tells Stanley that Simon may be back at the store. They ask Zack if has he seen them, if he was there or not. He said he got there, then turned around. Stanley finally leaves. Zack shows the group the clippings, tells him what he saw. Then 4 pickaxes pierce the tires, and they have no more ride. So what do? Go into the woods looking for your long-lost friend, Ashley.
Yep, then they figure out that Stanley has made her into a doll.
Yeah. They go into the woods and hear music. Then they come across the head of Ashley. They disconnect the power source, and a CG ejects from her mouth. I find this to be pretty funny. It's just oddly comically funny. They scream. Riff gets stabbed. Tells the girls to go. Riff, with axe in hand, goes after one of the twins. We hear the mechanical grinding of a pickaxe tosser, and the gears a turning. Then hundreds of CGI pickaxes go everywhere, every which way, left, right, up, down, diagonal. That was one of my favorites. And yeah, it's coming from one machine, but it's just like they're just tossing them, like in every direction.
For a stationary machine, this thing was
yeah,
built by a machinist genius.
Yeah. This happens till Riff finally meets his end, and we get kill number 666. Pickaxe thrown into his chest, which pins him into a tree. Vicky, who's lost, comes across some dripping body bags, She opens one to let the bodies hit the floor. Stanley comes up behind her, tells her he won't let Simon kill her. Then Stanley has a few flashbacks of identity of the Stanley Simon twin.
Kind of has multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Where he's taken on both personalities.
And his dad is yelling. Then he decides Simon shouldn't have all the fun and drags Vicky off. Kicking and screaming, we get kill number 7089. Vicky's introduced to the blonde, and they are left alone to hang out. I give this a 4 out of 5. Because he pins her against the wall on the same spike branch of this tree. And then we get a corny joke that is just riffed with this film. Then Simon says it's time for Stanley to have some fun as Zack is running away and getting high at the same time. Because Zack's whole shtick is he's constantly stoned and constantly smoking no matter what the situation is. His personality is 420. Zack falls down a slope as pickaxes are flying. He gets to the bottom, crashes into something, and bam, a pickaxe ends up in his leg. Then the pickaxe gets pulled, and with Zack along with it. Kate is on the side of the road, and she sees Stanley's truck roll up. Stanley says, "Get inside." She won't. Stanley says, "Sheriff's been notified," of a town of one building.
He lies and tells her that the others are at the store, safe. Zack sneaks up and climbs in the truck bed as Kate gets in the truck. While they're driving, Simon explains that he and Stanley have lived in the area their entire lives with their parents and took over the gas station when Quinn and Carrie died. Simon takes Kate into an old campsite where two long, decayed bodies are sitting at a picnic.
But during this drive, Kate realizes there's something not right, and she's slamming against the door, and we find out that it's jerry-rigged to not let anybody out.
Yeah, and he stops abruptly, and she, face plants it.
He's also jerry-rigged the seatbelt to pull who's ever the passenger snugly against the seat.
Yeah, he wants to make sure he controls the situation.
Yeah. Then Stanley decides to go off-road to meet Mother and Daddy. Then Stanley gets dinner out and her out. She has a choice of molded bug-infested chicken sandwich or a ham sandwich.
I hope ham sandwich is your favorite because woo, it's probably fresh caught too.
Yeah. Then Stanley tries to help Kate eat her sandwich to show he is a good boy to his mother. And he insists, and then Kate insists on doing it herself. Mother's head tilts, and Stanley irritably unlatches her right hand. She starts to untie her other hand when she goes for the knot. Stanley says, "You didn't say." Simon says. And
she tries to seduce him.
Yeah, awkwardly. And then he plunges a knife between her fingers and into the decaying picnic table. Then Simon shows up after the prayer. Stanley asks if he wants pork or your favorite. Zack, who is now who's acting as Simon, answers favorite. Then Stanley tells him to hold out his hand. Then he said, "You didn't say." Simon says, and produces a meat cleaver and cuts off Zack's 3 fingers. Then Zack hits him with a monkey wrench upside his head. Stanley. Kate is shocked it's Zack. Stanley beats Zack and ties him up to a tree. Then Stanley finds Zack's half a bag of weed, and because it's
marijuana,
the devil's lettuce.
There you go, devil's lettuce. Isn't that what he calls it, devil's lettuce?
Something like that. And because it's a party, Stanley decides to roll it up a fatty.
It's a ginormous one.
Yeah.
Didn't he roll him up?
No. As he does, Kate asks why, and Stanley says, "It's all been about you, Kate, and that she is his dream girl." Stanley is finished rolling up a massive joint. As Zack is trying not to inhale, Stanley punches him in the stomach and makes him inhale, and he starts spitting up blood. And then the ghillie suit that Zack is wearing. If you didn't know, a ghillie suit is the fake grass and stuff. It's made to look like grass. Catches fire, and Zack goes up in flames and does a devil's cry. The Stanley goes on how Mother loves Simon more, and he didn't have the attention he wanted. He was in the shadows of Simon. And then Kate tries to seduce Stanley, and things get a little dangerous, and when Stanley lets down his guard and covered his eyes, well, Kate reaches for the butcher knife. Stanley catches it. They break the table, and Kate hits him with a board and runs away. Stanley follows with a pickaxe, trips and falls and hurts himself. She goes up to Zack's corpse, telling it she is going to avenge him. Stanley starts freaking out. We find out Simon was in a coma for years, and Stanley took his place. Because who's going to convict a crazy retard? His words, just pointing out. Then he says, you know what's the best part of being Simon? You can't block it. And since she likes Simon more, he's going to kill you. And then he goes on about feeling, as he gets closer to the burnt remains of Zack, she charges out of the remains, lands the butcher knife into Simon's head.
He falls to the ground, but when she looks down at where his corpse should have been, he is gone. A hand reaches for her just before the film cuts to black. The film ends with another group of youths arriving at the store, asking Simon for directions, but off by his strange behavior, they leave. Simon goes into the back room and opens a trapdoor, revealing Kate tied up with infant twins.
And
what does he say to her?
Dream girl.
There's my dream girl.
Then it turns to black. And then he tells her that they're going to have fun tonight.
Yeah, because there's a new group of youths.
And he is attracted to the blonde that showed up.
He always finds somebody in the group, doesn't he?
Yeah, always.
He's a naughty boy.
So I actually give this a 4 out of 5. There's a lot of flashbacks in this film that really... We find that Stanley hates Simon and is trying to constantly kill him, either through some sort of contraption he came up with. At one point, he comes up with this like rock-throwing contraption and tells Simon to go stand in the middle of this lake as he releases the stone and skips on the water because Simon grabs something out. And then at some other point, he gets him to smoke marijuana and tells him to smoke like a choo-choo, and Simon's starting to choke on it. We also find out that Stanley killed the parents because, like I said, they like Simon more. And then we just see that throughout the progression and during the credits, we see that Stanley is mechanically inclined because there's constantly blueprints of different mechanisms, including the thrower type thing. But I mean, it's just, I really like that Crispin Glover is just this bizarre, comical bad man with this horrible southern accent.
Yeah, I have a southern accent, and I have to really exaggerate in order to sound the way he sounds.
I mean, it is just comical. This movie is just, it's a good, fun romp of a film.
We really don't have to look at our notes too horribly much to know what's going on because we've seen it. It's one that we watch at least twice a year.
Yeah. It's a good film if you're feeling bad. Like you're having a down day. One of those type of films. Is there anything you want to say about it?
I give it a 4.5. For one, because maybe not so much in like today's time, but if they were born like around the time we were born, and they were adults now, this is something that could actually happen.
You want to expand on that thought?
Like these could be actual people, just because the regulations and stuff. And there's people that are living off the grid now.
Yeah,
it's easier to do than what most people realize. And this movie has multiple levels, if you really think about it. It really speaks to the real life struggle between good and evil. But the good and evil are twins.
Yeah.
And if you really think about it, they're identical twins. They look exactly alike. For all intents and purposes, they should have similar likes and dislikes, but they're polar opposite. And because their parents favored one over the other, because one was kind of simple and didn't give them a hard time and obeyed and listened to what they asked him to do, and the other one was just difficult and constantly pushed against the system, so to speak, what they wanted them to do. And all of that, they favored one over the other because of that. Naturally, typically children, you would think, that are twins would kind of be similar, at least in their likes and dislikes, or at least somewhat similar, because they're raised in the same manner. They're typically put in the same outfits and they're going to have different personalities.
But I mean, this goes with like the serial killer concept.
But they were polar opposites.
Yeah.
And it's like Stanley almost pushed himself apart intentionally to draw attention to himself because he was jealous of the attention that Simon got. He did all these negative things to draw attention to himself in order to get extra attention because his parents doted upon Simon so much. But like I said, it really speaks to the real life struggle between good and evil.
Or innocence, because Simon could be considered innocent.
Right, I mean, he was easily manipulated.
I didn't go that far. It's just, I thought it's just a fun film to watch.
It is.
I mean, and the accent, it cracks me up every time.
It is hilarious. He really just lays it on thick. He really does.
And honestly, I love Crispin Glover when he is just a nut job in a film.
He really delves deep into... He plays that character like it's himself.
Crispin Glover himself, if you watch any of his other stuff, his like art projects and stuff, he's nuts. Yeah. He's like probably certifiably nuts. But in like that creative way. And it's a lot of fun to see. I liked him in Willard, the remake of Willard. I liked him in that. Because he plays sort of like simpleton really easily. But then there's that just underlining darkness.
Yeah.
And a lot of his art projects he's done is interesting. I think that's like one of the very few actors I wouldn't mind meeting in real life. Especially now because he's like trying to get away from the Hollywood world. Although he likes playing the odd man out, sort of like back rows or stuff like that. Back rolls. He's not really much into being in the forefront of AAA films, the known stuff. Funny thing is I saw this thing, I guess Hot Tub Time Machine he was in, and he played like a one-armed bellhop or whatever. And for the second one, he really, really wanted that role, but they never recasted that role, and he was sort of upset about it.
One-armed bellhop.
Little weird trivia. But if you haven't seen it, this is one film that I would say you should see. The only, the reason why I gave it a 4 out of 5, more or less, is the CGI is just so goofy, and I don't feel like it really needed it. And sort of the odd way that the pickaxes were flying just got to me.
Maybe it's not meant to be taken so seriously.
It's not supposed to, but I mean, like, it was goofy. But this whole film is goofy, so.
Yeah.
The accent, though. Love it and hate it at the same time.
You hear it all the time.
No, what I'm saying is that just that exaggerate.
We've been married for almost a decade. You hear a southern accent every day.
No, it's not. I know, but that exaggerated fake. I love and hate it.
You want me to start talking like that?
No, I'll start talking like that.
You're gonna call me a dream girl?
Yeah. And we apologize if
It's
you.
weird hearing you with an accent. You don't have one really.
We're sorry if you hear any honking in the background because obviously people don't know how phones work anymore.
Yes, so we live in an apartment complex and people can be quite lazy and rude.
So
unfortunately.
you want to end it here?
Yes, I do believe that is all. And we'll scare you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, dream girl.